How's it going, guys? CotC here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the newest arena champion Varkyn, who was released last week in the Varkyn Cup. Varkyn is a light scholar, the second 5-star added to the game after Odette. While Odette is an extremely powerful light attacker in her own right, Varkyn is no slouch himself, being a self-sufficient damage dealer in a similar vein as Sophia, allowing him to serve as a powerful main light DPS that's available to all players. However, even if you have Odette on your roster, she doesn't replace him outright, and instead, you can bring both on the same team for maximum light damage potential. Varkyn's voice actor is Hiroki Yasumoto, who's well known for his very low tone of voice, which transfers very well to some of the roles he's portrayed. Powerful, imposing, confident characters just like Varkyn. Some of these roles include Chad from Bleach, Hozuki from Hozuki no Reitetsu, Egil from Sword Art Online, and King from One Punch Man, who, funnily enough, isn't any of those things in actuality. Taking a look at Varkyn's stats, he's strongest in the area where it matters most for scholars, his magic stat. With a maximum magic of 419, he's able to go toe-to-toe with even Odette. However, he does have a couple stats that fall a bit below the mark. For example, his SP pool is noticeably lower than most of the other 5-star scholars, but this is done on purpose. The design intent is that you should stay below 50% maximum SP in order to gain additional benefits. Additionally, his speed stat of 273 puts him on the lower end of scholars, but this shouldn't pose too much of a problem as you will be more often than not be breaking enemies with a much faster class anyway, and letting Varkyn come in to do some big nuke damage afterwards. Varkyn's kit has some pretty strong options. Starting with his light spells, he has 3-hit light random target, which inflicts 2 turns of 15% light defense down per hit. Just like Sophia's and Odette's versions of this spell, with a single cast you can inflict up to 6 turns of debuff on a single enemy. Additionally, this spell stacks with Odette's version as well, letting you maintain the full 30% light defense down for entire fights. While this random target spell isn't best suited for fights with multiple enemies, Varkyn's got you covered. 3-hit light single target allows you to easily single out specific foes, while his 1-hit light AoE lets you hit the entire enemy force at once. Prior to learning these skills, there are a few lesser skills along the way, such as his 1-hit light single target and a weaker light AoE, but these will end up being rendered unnecessary once Varkyn's unlocked his full kit. I take both his 3-hit light random target and 3-hit light single target at all times, with the third slot being flexible based on my needs. For tome skills, he has a very simple 2-hit tome single target as his only option. While he typically won't be bonking people with his book, this is still a good option to have in his kit that can potentially be brought as a third slot in general play when your enemies have unknown weaknesses. On the utility side, Varkyn has a few buff and debuff options as well that can be brought as potential third slots. He can buff his own magic stat by 20% for 3 to 6 turns, letting him get an easy 30% magic up cap when combined with common buffers such as Lynette. Casting this just once with 0 BP just to get it started, and then using Lynette's buff to extend the duration much further while also capping, is a very common strategy. On the debuff side, Varkyn has access to the same Elemental Crush skill as Noelle, which reduces a single enemy's magic and magic defense by 15% for 2 to 5 turns. Funnily enough, this makes Varkyn a very usable unit in the Varkyn Cup the same way Noelle is, but also being able to cast light magic on the Scholar ad if needed is pretty neat. It's pretty funny to see 2 Varkyns on the screen at once fighting each other. His final debuff skill is an AoE 20% light defense down for 2 to 5 turns. If you don't have Odette to help Varkyn reach the 30% cap up for light defense down, don't worry, as he's still able to accomplish it by himself. Assuming you're against a single enemy, start by casting this debuff on turn 1 to establish 20%, and then follow up with Varkyn's 3-hit random target to raise it up to the 30% cap and also significantly extend the debuff's duration. For Varkyn's passives, he has the standard Scholar element passive, giving him 30% light damage up. This frees up Varkyn's accessory slots, removing the need to equip items such as light runes. His 3-star passive gives him a passive 20% magic up buff while at 50% SP or lower. This is one of the reasons Varkyn's max SP is noticeably lower than other scholars, as it allows you to activate this passive much sooner. Varkyn also has access to a couple cool accessories. The first is his exclusive accessory, which can be obtained by refighting Varkyn in the memoirs. While it doesn't give any stats, it gives Varkyn even more reward for being below 50% maximum SP. It gives him 20% reduced SP cost, allowing him to more comfortably be below that 50% threshold, and a 10% chance to double cast any of his light spells. As with Hana and Odette, you do want to be a bit cautious about this double cast mechanic, but it can have some pretty hilarious high roll results if it's what you're aiming for. Varkyn's other notable accessory is not one that you can currently get yet in EN. Instead, it'll become available later on once the Scholar Job Tower has been ongoing. The accessory in question is Varkyn's Awakening 4 accessory, the Genius Strategist Medal. This gives 40 magic, 40 defense, and 60 speed, which is already amazing, but additionally it inflicts a massive 6 turns of 15% passive magic defense down on all enemies at the start of combat. When combined with Laura's passive, which also inflicts 15% magic defense down passively, you can have the entire enemy force debuffed for the maximum 30% for the first 9 turns of battle, which is insane. While this isn't something that you'll be able to get anytime within the immediate future in EN, it's definitely something worth looking forward to later on. Being a master strategist, Varkyn has you covered for many situations depending on who you have or don't have in your party, thanks to having 2 very strong core light skills and a plethora of flexible options afterwards. If he has to go in as your lone light mage, he has the debuffing power to make it work. If you don't have access to additional magic and magic defense down to hit that 30% cap, he can bring Elemental Crush to help you close the gap. The main thing that I think Varkyn is missing from his kit is a dedicated nuking option. With his best attacking skill being his 3-hit 65 potency light, he doesn't have the greatest ceiling, but overall his kit has a very high floor that makes him very suitable for many comps. And that covers everything with regards to Varkyn. Hope you guys have been doing well on your Varkyn Cup attempts, as this one can be a bit tricky. Up next will be the Zonta overview, as he's been officially announced to be the next upcoming character. So stay tuned for that, and until then, this has been CotC. See ya!